In 1945, France celebrated its liberation from Nazi occupation, but the Victory March contained a glaring contradiction. Hundreds of thousands of colonial troops had bled to free the Republic, yet the government immediately locked down its overseas empire with an iron grip. The architecture keeping that empire intact was a sprawling set of laws known as the Code de l'Indigène. This framework divided the population. At the top, a tiny minority of French citizens. Below, a rigid barrier, a massive exploited class of subjects. Existing outside normal law, they faced forced labor, arbitrary prison sentences, and zero voting power. In places like Madagascar and Indochina, the reaction to this oppressive structure took the form of armed rebellion. In Senegal, however, the response relied on a different tactic, weaponizing the oppressor's own legal framework against them. That strategy was engineered by Lamine Guèye. He looked at the French Empire and realized a crucial vulnerability. It was, ultimately, a legal fiction, and a system built on laws could be dismantled by someone who mastered those laws. Guèye was uniquely equipped for the job. In 1921, he became the very first Black African to earn a doctorate in French law. He knew the French civil and penal codes better than the colonial administrators did. That expertise turned him into a highly effective legal Trojan horse. Guèye began building his power base locally. In 1945, he secured the role of mayor of Dakar, giving him a prominent political platform in West Africa. Later that same year, he campaigned for and won a seat as a deputy in the French National Assembly, crossing the ocean to take up residence in the heart of the empire. He was now a verified insider. He sat in the exact room where colonial rules were drafted, perfectly positioned to strike at their foundations. His first major legislative strike landed in May 1946, with a piece of legislation that would eventually bear his name, the Loi Lamine Guèye. This single law obliterated the barrier separating subjects from citizens. It declared everyone living in overseas territories held the same civic status as mainland France. Overnight, millions of colonial subjects gained citizenship, effectively ending the legal basis for the Code de l'Indigène. Guèye followed up with a second precision strike in June 1950. This new legislation, the Equal Pay Law, targeted the colonial administration itself. It made race-based pay disparities illegal, guaranteeing equal salaries and benefits for African and European civil servants occupying the same roles. By removing the legal capacity for discrimination and the financial incentive for a segregated workforce, Guèye forced the colonial administration to operate under the same fiscal and ethical roles as the mainland. But his approach carried an ideological tension. Many observers wondered why Guèye fought so hard for assimilation into France, rather than demanding an immediate sovereign break from the empire. For Guèye, it was a practical calculation. He recognized that securing civic rights, fair wages, and access to education were absolute prerequisites. You couldn't build a functional, self-governing state without them. By enforcing legal equality, he created the conditions necessary to incubate an empowered, politically active African middle class. Guèye used these rights as the essential training ground for self-rule, ensuring that when full independence arrived, it would be managed by a class of citizens who already understood how to exercise political power. That patient strategy paid off in 1960. Senegal made a peaceful transition to an independent nation, bypassing the scale of colonial conflict seen in other territories. Guèye spent his final chapter serving as the first president of the independent Senegalese National Assembly. He guided the young nation through its turbulent early years, alongside leaders like his former protégé, Léopold Sédar Senghor. Lamine Guèye's legacy serves as a blueprint. If you want to dismantle an unjust, systemic machine, the most effective method is often to master its rules so completely that you can break it from the inside out.